trinken alle Wesen an den Brüsten der Natur. Alle Guten, alle Bösen folgen ihrer Rosenspur. Diese gab sie uns und Leben einem Gott den Tod. Alles war ihm Gott gegeben und die Erde steht vor Gott.
Good morning. What a great way to start our last Meet the Artist this season. You just heard the finalists, the winners of our first ever YouTube vocal competition. I will introduce them one by one, and they just performed an excerpt from Beethoven Ninth Symphony. You probably recognized it. But in the meantime, I'd like to welcome back our music director, Marcelo Lehninger. And artistic director of Los Robles Master Chorale, actually music director of Los Robles Master Chorale, and artistic director of New West Chorus as well, Lesley Leighton. Marcelo, welcome back.
Thank you.
We haven't seen you since Visions of America. What have you been up to?
Traveling a lot. My life, living in suitcases. No, I'm really glad to be back here. I was looking forward to come here and do Beethoven Ninth and seeing you all again and working with the orchestra, so I'm glad to be back.
Any interesting engagements?
I was, yeah, the last month is being really interesting. I was in Boston, and unfortunately, the happenings there. I had a concert that day. I was rehearsing the Boston Symphony, and then we had to cancel the concert. So that was unfortunate. But after that, I went to Paris, and then I did a recording there. And from Paris, I went to São Paulo, and I did a concert in Brazil, and then I flew to Los Angeles, and here I am, a little bit jet-lagged, but happy to be here.
Well, welcome back. We're certainly very happy to see you. And I wanted to ask Lesley. Lesley, how has it been rehearsing with Marcelo and their chorus? I know it was the first time. After Visions of America had about 24 voices, but now it's a lot larger chorus. So you just rehearsed last night. How was it?
It went extremely well. Marcelo's so easy to work with. He's just great. And he was fine-tuning. He's fine-tuning a lot of stuff, which needed to be done. So it was, I think it's going to be terrific.
And I missed it yesterday, but I heard that you had the New West Symphony conducting debut as well.
I did yesterday, yes. Marcelo surprised me with that one. It was, it was fun. He wanted to listen. Because I guess you hadn't heard.
I never been audience member from New West Symphony, and the podium sometimes is not the ideal place to listen to the orchestra. So I sat in the audience and Lesley conducted. So that was fun.
I had way too much fun. It was a lot of fun.
Lesley, you've been extremely busy this year. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing in Los Angeles community in terms of your work?
Yeah, I'm the associate conductor of Los Angeles Master Chorale, which is a busy little group at Walt Disney Concert Hall. So I conduct them a lot. I'm doing, as a matter of fact, tonight, I'm missing our rehearsal this evening for Beethoven 9 because I'm conducting Los Angeles Master Chorale at Pepperdine University in a special concert that we're doing there. And we're putting together Figaro. We're rehearsing on Saturday for that. And so it's been busy. We just had, Los Robles had a concert last weekend at the new Performing Arts and Education Center, which you should see just for fun sometime. It's a really nice venue. So it was our first time in there.
Is it in Calabasas or Agora?
Yeah, it's Agora, the one at Agora Hills. Yeah, lovely, beautiful theater. So.
Excellent, yeah. And I know Los Robles has been very busy. How many concerts did you have this season?
Oh, this season, it's gauging around 9, I think, something like that. If we count in our work with other organizations like New West, and it's been really great. We have one more that's ours, Carmina Burana, if anybody likes that work. June 9, I got my plug. Thanks for letting me do that. But yeah.
You're welcome. I actually admire what Lesley is doing because in the last, I would say 4 years now, 5 years, almost 5 years, Los Robles Master Chorale really grew tremendously. And the voices are phenomenal, and we're so happy that they are the basis of our new West Symphony chorus. Last year, we auditioned a number of people to perform in New West Symphony Chorus, and they somehow migrated into Los Robles Master Chorale too. And so it's very exciting to collaborate with Lesley. I wanted to tell you a little bit more about our YouTube competition. About a year ago, a friend of mine, Julia Torgovitskaya, who is the principal of I Cadenza Young Artists, it's an artist agency that is also a career development agency, said to me, you know, it would be nice, we were talking to Lesley about just doing a competition, and when I brought it up to Julia, she said it would be nice to do a YouTube competition. And I said, well, that will be interesting. I am really enjoying the sound of it, because New West Symphony just went through, as you have seen, a major transformation. There is a new music director, there is a new website, and we were thinking, how do we attract more people to our website? So being online apparently these days is the way to go. So since we announced the competition, we had over 18,000 new views. And this was largely contributed to their finalists or semi-finalists to the competition, to the competitors, because they invited friends and their friends to vote for them. So the competition ended in December, and we had live auditions in February, and the 4 finalists are singing with New West Symphony this weekend. So and we were acknowledged as an innovative orchestra doing something new, adding an angle to what has been done before. And I always kind of boast that we just did our first ever American Idol for classical singers. So that was exciting. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first finalist. His name is Steve Pence, and Steve is so exciting. He currently lives in Orange County. He has a wife and a child, and he sings everywhere, and I was really excited to have him as a finalist. So without further ado, Steve Pence, accompanied by Dr. Malia Robertson, and she is from Occidental College. So welcome, Steve. Can you tell us, can you just introduce your piece and just say hi to the audience?
Good morning. My name is Steve, and I will be presenting Le Veau d'Or, which is the Devil's sort of introductory aria in Gounod's Faust. It's not the first thing he sings, but it's his sort of announcing his presence to the world. And in it, it's Le Veau d'Or is the golden calf. It's a reference to the shenanigans that the Israelites got up to while Moses was at Mount Sinai. And sort of as a representation of temptation from God and all sorts of wicked things. And it's this sort of savage, quick presentation that he does.
Est toujours debout, ressasse sa puissance, ressasse sa puissance, au bout du monde à l'autre bout, pour fêter la famille de les rois et peuples confondus, au plus sombre des équipes, on se voit de ronde folle, autour de son pédestal, autour de son pédestal. Et Satan conduit la balle, et Satan conduit la balle, et Satan conduit la balle, conduit la balle, conduit la balle. cœur des dieux, sa gloire dérisoire, sa gloire dérisoire, le votre object incite aux cieux. Il contemple l'orage étrange, à ses pieds le genre humain, sa ruole fait en main, dans le sang et dans la fange. Où brille l'ardent métal, où brille l'ardent métal. Et Satan conduit la balle, et Satan conduit la balle, conduit la balle, et Satan conduit la balle, conduit la balle, conduit la balle, et Satan conduit la balle, conduit la balle, conduit la balle.
Steve, thank you very much. How was it to participate in the YouTube competition? Have you ever done this before?
No, that was new. Yeah, I was actually contacted by one of the organizers who had seen me in a production at USC of The Tempest and suggested that it would be something that might be a good fit for me. So I got together with a friend of mine who plays the piano and did a quick and dirty video of a couple things and just sort of pieced it together and got it up there just under the deadline. And it worked out pretty well.
I'd say, you know, it's interesting because the way we set up the competition, we had over 10 judges judging the YouTube portion of it, and they have never seen each other, talked to each other about the candidates, so they independently rated the candidates, and we had a separate panel for the finalists. So it was interesting how it all worked out. And Steve, can you tell us a little bit about your work? I know that you are also performing, you're connected with Los Angeles Opera.
That's right. I sing fairly regularly with Los Angeles Opera. I'm a member of the Los Angeles Master Chorale. I'm actually not involved with the two projects that Lesley is working on right now because I am preparing for Tosca with Los Angeles Opera. I'm singing in the chorus there. And there's a group called Orange County Opera, which goes around to elementary schools and does outreach opera for the children in the mornings, and I work with them. And I sing at churches. I have a Saturday Seventh-day Adventist gig, which is great. I have a beautiful church I sing in on Sundays, and you know, just making a living
I know you're a
singing.
very busy man. I know when we were scheduling, it's quite a production. Imagine to schedule 4 singers, 100-person choir, very busy directors, 3 theaters because we perform on Friday in the Oxnard Performing Arts Center, on Saturdays in Thousand Oaks Civic Arts Plaza, and on Sundays at Barnum Hall in Santa Monica. So it was quite a production. I know how busy you are, so I want to thank you, first of all, for participating, for taking a chance, and thank you for winning the competition. We're delighted to have you.
Thanks for having me.
For those of you who are watching us on TV, I'd like to direct you to our new website. It's www.newwestsymphony.org, and you can see what we're doing and what's planned for next season, which brings me to the next question. This upcoming season is Marcelo's first season that he planned as the full music director. As you know, we plan about a year and a half, 2 years, 2 years in advance. So last season was the season that was a collaboration between me, some guest conductors, and Marcelo. So this season is purely, upcoming season is purely his creation. Can you tell us a little bit more about the upcoming season?
Of course, yes. I'm really happy. I'm really excited with next season. And we're receiving Sarah Chang to open the season. She's playing the Bruch violin concerto. So I think that's it's the new era for New West, and bringing such a superstar classical musician, it's going to be really nice to have her here. And when I was planning the season, I was thinking about, I have one world and one thought, which was variety. So I wanted to have a little bit of everything. I wanted to have new music that you probably never heard before. I'm bringing Brazilian music. I was thinking to have, as well as the music we all love and recognize. I was thinking about having a little bit more crossover music. We're doing some Piazzolla tangos. We're doing Argentina music. So it was.
It's quite a variety.
A variety, and when you're going to be there and experience in the US, you're going to be part of that variety. So I hope you enjoy as much as I enjoy planning.
So what are the masterpieces that you planted in the next season?
So we have, for example, we have pictures at an exhibition by Mussorgsky. We have Beethoven Fifth, but as well we have, for example, Momo Precoce by Villa-Lobos, which is a piece for piano and orchestra. And we're receiving a Brazilian pianist to play that. Her name is Cristina Ortiz.
She's quite famous. She was the original recording artist of Momo Precoce.
She actually recorded the piece with Londo Orchestra, and Vladimir Ashkenazy is the only commercial recording we have available now. And she won the Van Cliburn competition years ago.
That's right.
So the time we'll be playing that concert, it's going to be 1 year since he passed. So it's going to be, we'll dedicate the concert to him.
Van Cliburn.
And then, you know, we have, for example, the Prokofiev left-hand piano concerto that it's not often played. But we have a Mozart symphony. So it's all part of variety. And then the last concert, which I have Beethoven's Fifth, which is the Symphony of Hope. It's the Mother's Day concert. So I have my mom coming and being the soloist for Chopin's Second Piano Concerto. And we played before. There's videos of us on YouTube. You can check that out. But it'd be so nice to have her and playing with us.
Did you mention YouTube just to emphasize that your mother is a very accomplished concertizing pianist and who travels around the globe, and Marcelo grew up actually under, I always joke about this, but he did homework when his mother was practicing, so under the piano, so the music is in his blood. So she practiced so much and she traveled so much. So when she was home and she was practicing, it was the way I found to be close to her. So I was under the piano and doing my homework and just with that massive sound in my head. So, and I also know that we are collaborating again with Lesley, and we're performing Verdi Requiem in April of 2014. So very exciting program planned.
That's such a powerful piece and a difficult piece. And then after I planned the season, I start thinking, gosh, this is a hard season. We need to think about rehearsing all that. So I asked Natalia for some extra rehearsals so we can make it possible. But it's a beautiful season, and I'm really looking forward to that. Verdi Requiem, it'll be powerful. I hope you all experience that. This is such a masterful.
And I have to plug it in as the executive director of New West Symphony that you have to go on the website to learn about it a little bit more and read about it and renew your subscription and sign up. I want to introduce our second finalist of our vocal competition, and it's a very lovely she's a very lovely mezzo-soprano. Her name is Grace Newberry, and Grace is the graduate of Oberlin Conservatory. She's a very accomplished singer, and without further ado, Grace Newberry. Grace, welcome. Thank you. What are you singing for us today?
I would like to sing Voi che sapete from Le Notte di Figaro by Mozart. In this aria, I'm about 14 years old. I'm a page boy. And I'm just going through puberty, so everything's a little new for me. Lots of hormones, if you know what I mean. So I actually wrote this little song, and it's a lot about me. So I say I'm hot and then I'm cold, and then I feel this desire, and I don't know what to do with it, and everything's new. And so he's singing it to the Countess and to Susanna, who is actually accompanying him. What can I say?
You're such an actress. I loved it. I loved it. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where did you grow up?
No, actually, right here. I'm from Thousand Oaks.
We're nurturing native talent.
Exactly,
I really enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I grew up in Thousand Oaks. I went to Thousand Oaks High School. I actually went to Moorpark College for 3 years. And then I transferred to Oberlin and did another 3 years there, and I just graduated last May. And now I commute for lessons. I study with Sherry Greenewald, who is the director of the Merilla Opera Program at San Francisco Opera. And I bust my butt every month, you know, get up there 3 times a week, 3 times a month. I go almost every weekend. It's kind of crazy, but I do it.
Can you tell us a little bit about, you rehearsed with West Symphony last night.
Yes.
How was it?
Fabulous. It was amazing to work with, really amazing to work with. I've never done Beethoven's Ninth before, so to be in all of that sound and to have the choir and the soloists who are, you know, fabulous next to me, it's a really powerful experience. I mean, that piece especially.
Well, thank you for keeping it fresh for us, because you know, we've performed Beethoven Ninth. We've been around for 19 years, so every 2 years or so we plan Beethoven Ninth. It's usually a sellout, and this time having young up-and-coming finalists of the competition will keep it fresh for us. So thank you so much, Grace.
Thank you very much.
Marcelo, from your perspective, what shall the audience expect on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
Well, as she said, it's a powerful piece, and we all know when we love Beethoven Ninth. It's about friendship. It's about living and coexisting together, and try to live in a better world. But I have to tell you something. To work with the New West Symphony yesterday in Beethoven Ninth, it was so exciting, really. And I think it shows us not only what's happening now, but it's what's going to happen next season. And you're going to feel that the excitement is there. The musicians are playing with such passion. And I think if we need to define one word for next season, it's going to be passion. And every concert, you're going to experience that. And
so
I think nothing better to show that with Beethoven Ninth. So actually, I don't see that as the last concert of the season. I see that is an invitation for next season, because you are going to experience something really powerful. You're going to experience musicians that they're loving what they're doing. Even if they played that piece 100 times before, they're playing as the first time. And this is, it was touching for me to experience that last night during the rehearsal. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be conducting New West Symphony.
Wow, it's a testament to your leadership, so thank you. But the piece is challenging. Can you tell us a little bit about the challenges of rehearsing, first of all, rehearsing the orchestra in 3 rehearsals, and the piece itself?
Well, Beethoven, it's, of course, the way he writes for the singers, it's interesting, because it's the tessitura, which is called the register, where the singers they sing. It's low. It's kind of that middle part that we're always, you know, it can be a little uncomfortable. And so we need to deal with that. We need to work on balance and stuff like that. But it's really challenging as well when you have to choose the tempo, the speed that the music goes. And in Beethoven, it's always a problem. Some people think you play too fast. Some people think you play too slow. And I was talking to Lesley. I read this book. It's called Prestissimo. And this lady, she thinks we're playing Beethoven twice as fast. And I read the book and I said, it can be possible. So I was traveling with Maestro Kurt Masur in Europe. And he arranged me to go to the archives of the Friends of Music, the Friends of the Arts in Vienna. And I saw all the documents, and then I saw Beethoven's metronome. So I was playing, I had to use gloves, of course, and I was playing with the metronome. I had my iPhone, so I was comparing to see if it was right. And then I was reading documents and all the timing of the concerts and the time logs. And I come to a conclusion, we're playing, the tempo is right. And Beethoven, and he wrote one list of the tempo marking, but then when he got the new toy, and the new metronome, he wrote another document, and he had a second list of new tempo. And maybe it was a little fast, and the Hammerklavier, the sonata for piano, is unplayable, the speed he wants. Okay, it's unplayable, but he was, we're not playing twice as fast, no. So you're going to experience an uplifting and fast Beethoven 9.
Great. Well, Lesley, from your perspective, what is challenging for the choir?
I think the hardest thing for the choir is definitely the tessitura. And when you refer to tessitura vocally, you're referring to not just the register, but the bulk of the register that they have to maintain throughout a piece of music. So a lot of music is written so that any voice type is going from low through the middle to high, and then they go back and forth. Okay, that would be a normal way. Beethoven has this tendency to write the high voices, the sopranos and the tenors, are consistently above the staff. So they sing high A's over and over. The sopranos, there's one place where they're singing an A for 2 or 3 pages, just A, and they just keep doing it. And that is very difficult for singers to maintain that level. And of course, he's writing it in these places where it's very loud, and the orchestra, the full orchestra is playing, so they have to be heard over that. And it takes a lot of stamina for singers. For the tenors, the same. And then, as Marcelo was talking about, the altos and basses sometimes are written in a low register, and they're staying down here, and you can't hear them, And Grace and I were actually talking about this yesterday, because he did the same thing with the soloists. The register at which the mezzo is written in the solos, it's very difficult to get that part out and be heard above the sopranos and the tenors, and even the bass. The bass, actually, the solo part is written very high and then very low. So it's difficult to find the right voice to sing it, because it needs to be a baritone bass, someone who has low notes but can also sing high notes. So it's a difficult work to undertake, I think. Yeah. And
as you said, the balance, because he writes the whole orchestra playing together, the choir, the soloists, everything together, and the dynamic, he wants fortissimo, really loud. So we need to work on balance. We need to try to bring the brass instruments a little down and the leading voice a little up. So we need to play around those tools to make the music happen in a way that you listen what you have to and what you're supposed to. So it's hard, but once you get through that, that work process, and once you understand what's going on and you adapt, then you start enjoying this music. You can see why he was a genius, and every note makes sense. And even though sometimes he writes a very simple melody that you can call it simple, but but it makes so much sense. Every note, one after another, it's just, it's right.
Yeah, it really is. And I have to interject, I was watching him work with the orchestra last night, and the challenge, I think, for an orchestral conductor, which is different from what I generally do, I'm dealing with 4 distinct instruments' voices, right? Sometimes they're written in 8 parts or more, but it's 4 distinct instruments, basically. He has many more than that with the orchestra. So I'm watching him work, and what I love, there was this one place, and it was in the Fugato, and the violins, you know, they on an off a second beat, you know, pa-pa-pa-pa-pa. You know, and so he's got the orchestra going, and then he just looks over at them and, yeah, come on, you know, bring that part out. And the challenge is to be able to know in the score, and I loved watching you last night, because he knew which things. Oh yes, right now I want to hear this, but then I want to hear that. So it was great, and I think it's, you know, that's the challenge, and he does it extremely well. So it's
thank you, Lesley.
Yeah, it's really great. It was fun.
So considering that Beethoven Ninth is so difficult, we're very fortunate that so many young people, ages 18 to 35, even applied for this, right? So we're quite fortunate. With that in mind, I'd like Lesley to introduce our tenor.
Oh yes, Casey Candebat, who I didn't know at all, obviously, going into the competition. And in walks this very young tenor. And I thought, wow, he's kind of young for Beethoven 9, is what I was thinking, you know. And we said, okay, what are you going to sing? And I can't remember what you sang. It was some large aria. And I just kind of went, oh my God, this huge voice, and can I tell what we dubbed him? He probably doesn't know this. We had a nickname for him during this. We called you the puppy tenor, and the reason is because, like, puppies have paws that are too large for themselves because they're young. This guy has a humongous instrument, but he's a very young man, and so it's it's learning the coordination of a ginormous voice in a young person's, you know, body and physical things. So we dubbed him the puppy tenor, and the puppy tenor won.
Well, Lesley is referring to the final committee. We had 5 members of the committee, and I don't remember all the names except for.
I can help you. Yeah, it was Edie Lehmann-Bodecker, Reed Bruton, Sherry Greenwald, myself, and Marcelo.
And can you give us a little bit of a background on each one of them?
Oh,
just
sure.
Shortly, so people know what caliber of
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Edie is one of the main contractors in Los Angeles for film work, for singers. That's how I know Edie. I've sung on many film soundtracks. And she's just one of the main contractors. And so we invited her to have a different ear listening. Reed Bruton is one of the preeminent voice teachers in Los Angeles. He's a wonderful singer himself, but he's a fantastic voice teacher. Sherry, of course, is at Marilla, San Francisco. She just knows good singing and good singers. I mean, you can't say enough about phenomenal. Sherry's ears that way. You already know the 2 of us, so.
So we were 5 judges, and without further ado, Casey Candebat. Casey, what are you singing?
Well, I'm going to sing Pourquoi me reveiller from Werther. You know, they say tenors only sing about love and death, and this is both of them. So.
Au souffle du printemps, pourquoi me réveiller sur ma frange sans tes caresses, et pourtant bien proche le temps des orages et des
Demain dans le vallon viendra le voyageur, se souvenant de ma gloire première, et ses yeux vanemment chercheront ma splendeur. Ils ne trouveront plus que deuil et que misère. Hélas, pourquoi me réveiller au souffle du
It's a small voice.
Bravo, Casey. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you find out about the competition?
Sure. I'm from New Orleans, and someone who works for iCadenza, Maria Elena Altani, she and I went to undergrad together at Loyola New Orleans. And I was singing in New York, and she called me on the day that the videos were due and said, you should do this. And I said, oh, okay, what's it about? And she told me, I was like, when's it due? Today. So I took my iPhone, set it up in the corner of her room, and recorded, and we were there. It was very last minute. Apparently, we were talking about this earlier, all of us were at like the last minute people to do this, and yet we won, so it's a good sign.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Lesley, can you comment on the quality of the competitors? Because just to give
absolutely.
give a perspective.
By the time it got to the final day, and we listened to, if I recall correctly, it was
16 voices.
It was 16 total, but it was 4 of each voice type that we heard. So by the time it got to the live auditions, the quality of singer was excellent. And we deliberated, quite a bit about, voices and what was required. Because the thing about Beethoven 9, again, it's difficult to sing. It's not, I'm a soprano. I would, and I don't sound like one today because I have a cold, but I would never, ever, ever sing this solo, ever, 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 because it's so not for my instrument. So it's a difficult, it's not your garden variety anything. It takes specific voices to sing this. And Casey was a tremendous competitor because we were torn between, at the end, remember? Yeah. Between 2 tenors. And we asked Casey after, I don't know, it was a long time.
About 8 hours.
It wasn't, okay, it wasn't that long, Casey.
Seemed like it.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. But it was certainly long enough that his voice would have cooled down. Yeah. Because as singers, we have to warm up, right, to have the voice up and running, especially a large instrument. Your voice has to be up and running. And so his voice would have cooled down, and we asked him, would you mind coming in and singing for us one more time? And he did, and he was such a fierce competitor because he realized, I can sew this up if I do this just right. And he did.
See, what they don't know is it never cooled down because I was yakking the whole time.
Now that I know you, this surprises me not.
I'm sure it's still warm after the last night's rehearsal.
Yeah, yeah. But this was amazing actually, because I was thinking Beethoven. It's so difficult when you have to sing Beethoven 9 because you sit there through 3 movements and you don't sing anything. Yeah. And then the 4th movement starts, and you have this really important and difficult bass part that you need to sing right away. Mm-hmm. So it's hard. For a conductor, it's hard when you start Beethoven 9th and you start those first measures, and you think, oh my God, I have 75 minutes of music to go. And I have 75 minutes to wave my arms. And that's what is going through a conductor's mind.
That's true. That's totally true.
But for a singer, you're sitting there, you think, you know, oh my God, I have 15 minutes that I have to wait to start singing. So it's that waiting game that it puts a lot of pressure on you. And he just appeared at, and we asked him, do you want to warm up? And he said, no, I'll sing again. I said, this is my guy. Let's do it. Okay, perfect.
Casey, you have a large voice and a large personality. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in New Orleans. Like I said, I did my undergraduate work down there, and I did grad work at Northwestern University in Chicago, so from wonderful weather to freezing to death. And I sang with San Francisco Opera last summer in the Merrill Opera program, so there's a double Sherry Greenawalt connection here. She wasn't partial to me in the auditions. In fact, she yelled at me a little bit, so it was good. And I'm about to be moving to Cincinnati. I don't know why I'm staying in the Midwest, but that's where I'm going. And I love Los Angeles, although I don't know how you all drive around here. It gives me a headache.
Tell us what one of your favorite hobbies is, Casey, because it's one we share.
Oh, yes. Well, I love to cook, as you can probably tell. And actually, on Lesley's birthday, I can't remember what it was that I sent you.
I don't remember.
But I sent her a recipe, and I was like, try this. You know, and I did Chautauqua Opera, which is a small company in upstate New York. If you've ever been there, it's a wonderful place to spend your summers. And we started, you know, like an Iron Chef competition there for singers. And at first I was the judge, and then I decided I wanted to start cooking. So next thing you know, I became one of the competitors. And I made a dessert once that was a dark chocolate molten cake.
That's the one
and it was good, but one of the mezzos nicknamed it Sex in a Cup. And that's what has stuck, you know. I'll make it later this week. We'll be
Good. Gonna hold you to it, Casey.
I'm so sad you're not talking for 3 movements, you know, while we're waiting for you to sing.
I know.
You know.
There'll be a show in the green room while we wait to come outdoors.
A floor show.
Yeah, absolutely. So how was it growing up in New Orleans?
I mean, I was a boy soprano. I started at a very, very young age singing, and then started operas in college. And New Orleans is a great city for opera. It's actually the first city of opera in this country. I think 295 years of opera. Just yesterday, we turned 295. And it was a great place to sing, and I still go back there. I just came back from Madame Butterfly there last week. I'm going back there in October to do something, so it's a great place to be.
And what's in Cincinnati?
In Cincinnati, I am going back to school to the University of Cincinnati's College Conservatory of Music to get what's called an artist diploma, which you probably don't know because my mother doesn't even know what that is. It's basically an internship for singers. It's like a medical residency sort of thing. They pay us to be there, and we get to sing. So it's a pretty nice place to be. I'm looking forward to it. I get to do big boy things, too. I'm doing big operas there, so it'll be nice.
Well, give it up for Casey Candebat. You know, since we're on the roll, I'd like to bring our last voice as well, you know, and I saved our soprano for our last musical performance of this program. And Emily Dyer is 20 years old, but she has sang Beethoven Ninth before, so I'd like to invite her to stage with our accompanist and Dr. Robertson, so please welcome Emily Dyer. Emily, it's, as we were talking before, it's a very difficult piece, especially for soprano. Where did you perform it before?
I had the opportunity to perform Beethoven 9 with the California Philharmonic last summer, so in August. And it is an exercise in extreme conservation, at least for me. I know last night we were singing for an extended period of time, and many of us decided to mark or sing a little bit less than full out. It was an exercise in acrobatics as well, and it was also
a chance to look at the vocal line of a piece in an instrumental light. So that was really, really enlightening, and it gave us a sense of the orchestral, being an instrument in the orchestra instead of a soloist.
So you currently are going to Chapman University,
yes.
right? And you're quite an accomplished lady in terms of your awards. Can you tell us a little bit more? When did you start singing, and how did you hear about U2 competition?
I began singing classically when I was 14 and grew up in the LA area in Long Beach. And the arts community in Southern California is incredibly supportive of young singers, and I've benefited from that. I participated in the Spotlight competition at the LA Music Center when I was a senior in high school. Since then, have been doing SAI competitions and competitions like New West that I'm extremely grateful for. They're great opportunities to get out there, especially as a young singer in my undergrad. These opportunities are invaluable. I found out about this competition because Maria Elena, part of the I Cadenza team, came to the California Philharmonic Beethoven 9 and asked me to audition, and I said, why not?
Fabulous, fabulous. Well, before we hear your last piece, I wanted to ask Marcelo if you have any final words before we close the program about Beethoven 9th and New West Symphony.
Well, I think I'm going to repeat myself. You're going to feel the passion, and I'm really excited to do that piece for you. And I think it's just, as I said, it's a bridge to what's going on next season. And I hope you all will be back here for next season as well. I'll be glad to be here. We're not going to be seeing each other for some time now after Beethoven 9th, but then I'll be back here. I'm driving now in California, actually. Because when I came here, Natalia asked me, do you want to drive here? I said, absolutely not. So it took me a season to start driving here, but I'm driving here, and I'm glad to be part of this community. And I'm looking forward to see you faces again, not only for Beethoven 9th, but also for next season. And thank you for your support.
How about you, Lesley?
I think it's going to be terrific. I think the performances, if people, you should tell all your friends. Get on the phone, call everybody, tell everybody. People should hear it. It's a wonderful piece, and this is going to be terrific performance. And I think we're looking very forward also to next season, to the Verdi. That's going to be a lot of fun. The choir is looking forward to learning that piece and working with you to do it, and so am I.
Yeah, I'm really happy, and the orchestra, I mean, they play so wonderfully, and I was so happy to see how fast they are in learning and adapting, even though it's a piece many of them played before, but just how fast they are in putting together a very high level and very high artistic level performance for you, and that it makes me happy to be here and to be conducting New West, because it's such a wonderful orchestra playing right here.
I'll take the credit.
And good group of music, good group of people working too. Administration, and Natalia is certainly doing a great job.
Well, from the executive director perspective, I am so excited that we're able to introduce 4 young soloists to our community. And whether they came through a YouTube competition or otherwise, I'm just happy that we can contribute to their careers, and we can build upon this and invite them back for future performances with us, as well as I Cadenza, our partner, is providing additional value to our prize. They're going through a career development boot camp, and hopefully we'll see you again. And I wanted Emily to talk a little bit about her piece before we close the program.
I would love to sing Musetta's Waltz, and Casey said tenors like to sing about love and death, and sopranos really like to sing about themselves. So, this is Musetta shining it on in the local hub with all of her friends.
I'd like to bring all our soloists to the stage now. Could you please all come up?